Have students generate test questions.
One quick and easy thing to have your students do to help them engage with content is to have them generate test questions. So this is something that can be done multiple ways. So you can have them write them on slips of paper and exchange them, or collect them at the front of class and read out a few and have the class answer those. You can also do it digitally on something like Mentimeter, a polling kind of sort of platform that you can use where students would be contributing to that Mentimeter, and then they would display that on the screen in front of the class, and then you can choose some of those questions to have the class answer as a group. In an asynchronous class, using a Canvas discussion board is a really easy way to do that. Or even in a synchronous class, it's something you can have them do outside of class time. So there are lots of different ways to do that, but just getting students to generate test questions and answer them is a way to get them to engage with the content and really dig in and see if they know what they're reading and learning about. Let's go ahead and take a look at a demo of where we do this in a Canvas discussion board.
While there are many ways to have students generate and exchange test questions, I am showing you how to do this in Canvas. While this is an excellent fit for asynchronous classes, you can also implement this in synchronous classes as something students do outside of class time. To do this in Canvas, you can use a discussion board. Log into your course and then click Discussions in the course navigation. Here, you'll want to add a discussion. I'm going to just open the discussion that I had created so you can see what a finished product looks like. But when you added it, you would get to this editing screen, and you would give it a topic title. In my case, it's Lesson 7 Question Writing Discussion. And then I give it an introduction and time estimate header. I use heading 2 for that, for best practices. And then I give an introduction of what they're doing, writing 2 test questions that their fellow students get to answer, and then tell them they also get to answer a couple of questions. I give a time estimate as well. It should take 20 to 30 minutes to complete. And then I come down to this question writing discussion heading and give more information. So I ask them to submit it in 2 separate posts. They'll actually post in 2 posts. And one question must be a true-false question. The other must be a multiple choice question with 4 possible answers. And then I give further clarification there, telling them that they must have 1 true-false, 1 multiple choice, and it must be based on the material from the lesson with an appropriate level of difficulty. So under the posting directions, it tells them to post their initial post directly in the discussion board as 2 new posts. And once you've posted, reply to 1 question and choose a post that has not had a reply yet. And then it gives them instructions on how to reply. And so I also ask them to not only provide an answer, but also state where in our course materials the information to answer the question is found. That just prevents people from Googling everything. And then I say, okay, for your grade, please see the grading rubric, and I'll show you that in just a moment. So once I've given them the instructions, and we're going to scroll down here, and you have some options. I do say they must post before seeing the replies, so they can't just take questions from other students. And I also, the key here is I make this graded. So you want to make sure that it's a graded discussion if you are assigning points. So I've given them 10 points. I'm displaying the grade in the grade book as points. This is part of the week 3 assignments, so I select that as my assignment group and then come down here and give it a due date. So once I click save here, that's what this looks like. I'm going to show you what the grading rubric looks like. So in discussions, it's hidden under this little 3 dots there. If I do show rubric, you can see what this rubric looks like. So I have some information about their multiple choice question, their true-false question, their replies to one of the questions, and then also spelling and grammar. So I'm giving them points based off of those criteria. So once the discussion board is set up, you're going to want to put that into your modules. And so I'm clicking modules here. So this was inserted under week 3, lesson 7. I'm going to expand that module. And I went ahead and put it under a heading I call graded assignments. But let's say it wasn't there yet. What I would do is I would click add, the little plus in the upper right-hand corner. I would go to discussion as my type of element. And then I would find that lesson 7 question writing discussion and add the item. And you'll see that Canvas adds that to the very bottom. And now I can use these 8 dots to drag that around. And you'll see now that it appears here twice. It's not generated twice, it's just displaying it twice. If I wanted to remove one of them, which I do want to do, I'm going to click on the 3 dots and click remove. This does not delete the discussion, it just removes it from this module. So I'm going to click OK, and now I'm just back to where it's presented once. If I look at what this looked like in my summer class when it was implemented, you'll see this is the prompt that you've seen before. And if I scroll down, you would see students making their original post, and then another student replied with the answer. They would only get partial credit because they didn't justify where they had gotten their information from. And then I just came down here and said that this is correct, so that students coming through would say, okay, I know that limestone is correct for this particular question. So now students are able to read through a lot of these questions and try to answer them as a way to studying off of one another. Thank you. For more tutorials, check out our YouTube channel, Faculty Development Center, CSUF.